Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. I'm Lisa with Lisa Capen Quilts. I have a really fun video for you today. Make sure to grab a pen and some paper because I'm going to be sharing all kinds of information with you. We're going to be busting through some of my last year's Valentine's Day scraps and making a new Valentine's Day project I'm going to hang up on the wall. But not only that, I'm going to be sharing all kinds of numbers with you so that if you want to take this project, this little quilt idea, and make it bigger, I'm going to give you some numbers so you could do that in today's video. I'm also going to be sharing the screen printing process with you. I had so much fun on Friday. I cannot wait to share that with you. And I'm also going to be giving away several of the projects that I made in today's video. Stay tuned to the end of the video to see details on that. So yes, even if you are not interested in learning how to screen print and what that can do for you in your crafting studio, you could also do this project in heat transfer vinyl. And let's say you are not interested in purchasing a frame for screen printing, you can make your own. There's tons of videos on YouTube on how to do that. I'm going to throw one of these projects in the wash, see how it holds up. I'm excited about the results, and I'll share that with you at the end of today's video. So yes, feel free to pause the video, take some notes. Feel free to save the video and come back and rewatch when you're ready to start this project. And make sure to share this video with your friends so that they can enter the giveaway as well. All right, who's ready to jump right in? We're going to get started. I'm going to move really quick through all of the details in this video. So please, again, feel free to pause it, jot down some notes, and most of all, I hope you enjoyed this video as much as I had fun making it. Now let's go ahead and get started. To start our project today, I'm going to go ahead and use my brother's Scan and cut out our stencil. I'm using Oracal 651 vinyl. And if you're interested in the stencil for this project, a link will be in the description box down below. Next, we're going to go ahead and weed out this part of our stencil and also remove the extra background, and that will leave a background square that measures 6.5 inches big. Now we can apply some transfer tape to our stencil. This is going to grab all of the parts of our stencil, and we can remove the backing part of the vinyl. I'm going to go ahead and burnish the stencil a little bit and remove the backing. Next, we're going to bring in my new speedball printing frame. I'm so excited about this. We're going to apply our stencil to the underside, the very bottom of our screen. And then we can remove the transfer tape. I do think I need some new transfer tape. This tape is so sticky. You can use contact paper, and I do believe your stencil will release much easier. Imagine the possibilities. You could create your own stencils, your own custom designs, and make all kinds of printed fabric. I'm having to be really careful to make sure that all of the bits of my stencil stay on the screen. Once all of your stencil is released, we're going to go ahead and flip it back around and make sure to burnish it really well onto the bottom of our screen. The next thing I want to do is create a template so that I can place all of my fabric scraps in the same exact place on my printing frame. So I'm just using a scrap piece of paper, and I'm going to draw a 6.5 inch box. We're going to line it up underneath of the screen and then tape it into place. And this will make for really fast printing, and we can do several prints and they'll all be exactly the same. Once we have that done, we can move to masking off the bottom of our screen with some painter's tape. And now the really fun part can begin. I've already pre-cut about 20 pieces of Kona fabric, 6.5 by 6.5 inches. I'm going to line it up right in my little template underneath of my screen, and I just like to use a couple pieces of painter's tape to hold that down into place. And now we can start printing our designs. The very first thing I'm going to do is flood the screen and put some of that ink into our stencil. Pull down the screen and pull our first print. Look how perfect that is. You'll notice I'm using some scrap pieces of paper underneath of my fabric in case the fabric ink bleeds through. I'm not creating a mess. I just use junk mailers. I keep a stack of them in my craft room and they come in really handy for projects like this. Here's our second print. Put down a scrap. Use the template that we created to perfectly line up our fabric square. We're going to draw the ink right over top of our stencil and create our print. And what's really awesome about the frame is that if you did not apply enough ink, you can lay down your screen once again and reapply the ink. Then you just keep repeating the process until you have as many prints as you need. I thought this was so much fun. I've been wanting to do this for a long time, and I finally had a really good day where I could just focus on having fun and creating these hearts. I'll put a link down in the description box if you want to check out this little frame and the ink that I've used in today's video. What I love about this are all of the edges on my design are perfectly crisp and clean. Once you've printed all of your desired pieces, you just let them sit and dry completely. Now while those are drying, I'm going to go ahead and straighten up my work area. I'm going to remove the template that we created. Because the speedball fabric paint is water-based, it's very, very easy to clean up. I'm going to scoop all of the remaining ink that I did not use right back into the jar and close that up really well. Then I'm going to remove the screen from the frame. It has two little pins that hold it right together in the hinges. And I'm going to take my screen right to the kitchen sink and wash it out with water. When I do that, the vinyl and the tape comes right off too, and everything washes right out. This screen printing frame is so simple. You just slide this pins back into the hinges, and I'm going to prop this up and let it dry. Now we're ready to heat set our designs. Today I'm going to be using my heat press. I did, let's see, over 20 hearts in less than 4 minutes, and I'm putting the settings right here on the screen for you to see. However, there are other heat setting options that you can use as well. If you don't have a heat press, I'm going to put those up on the screen here in just a second. So you can use an iron, you can use your easy press, you can even use your oven, which I thought was really awesome. And I'm just going to walk you through as I heat press all of my little hearts. Because this is the first time that I've used the Speedball fabric ink, I'm really in an experimenting mood and phase with this product, but I was amazed at how soft the ink felt. I guess maybe because we're putting it down with a screen. It did not apply an overly heavy amount of ink, and so after pressing it with my heat press, it felt just like normal fabric. Once you've heat set all of your prints, we're ready to pull out some scraps. So for this project, I'm making a Valentine's Day wall quilt. But you could use any color, any theme fabric with the same measurements and numbers that I'm going to give you in today's video. So I'm just going to go through and press all of my scraps. and then we'll move over to the cutting table and begin cutting out all of our pieces. Moving over to the cutting table, for this quilt project, we're going to be cutting our scraps to squares that measure 2.5 by 2.5 inches. And now I'm going to start sharing some numbers with you. So on the screen, you'll see all of the piece requirements to make different size projects. So feel free to pause the screen and take notes if you want to make this project into a different size. I'm going to go through all of my Valentine's Day fabric and cut a bunch of 2.5 by 2.5 inch squares. What I really love about this little quilt layout is that you could use any colored fabric that you wanted to. You could do this quilt in any theme that you wanted to. And you don't have to use the heart design. You could put any kind of applique in the blank square. You could create your own custom stencil to paint in the blank square. You could also just leave the middle square completely blank, and that would be just as pretty. So with our 2.5 inch squares, we're going to form 9 patches, just like you see me playing with on my table. I like to lay my 9 patches out in the order that I want to sew them, because we will be doing some chain piecing. So I'm going to go through and design all of my 9 patches and bring them over to the sewing machine. So here's my first row. I'm going to take my first 2 fabrics and put them through the sewing machine with a 1/4 inch seam allowance. And that third fabric, I'm going to create a pile to the right. I'm going to do this for each one of my rows. Sew the first 2 squares and place the third fabric over to the right, right on top of that stack. Once I'm done going through my whole pile, I'm going to go back to the very beginning. I'm going to flip my stack of extras upside down, and now they're in the exact same order as all of my chained pieces. Now I can go through and add that third square. This is a great way to stay organized and to keep all of that work exactly the way you wanted it in the order that you put it. Now I'm going to bring all of these pieces over to my iron. I'm going to separate the groups of 3. So each group of 3 is a 9 patch. This helps keep me organized and all of my pieces the way that I laid them out. And now we're going to press our seams to the darker fabric. This will help us nest our seams and keep our pretty little points in our 9 patch. First, we will attach the top part and sew that seam, and then we will sew the bottom part of our 9 patch with a 1/4 inch seam allowance. So I'll go do that, and once it's sewn together, we can press this nice and flat as well. So this forms our 9 patch. And you just repeat this whole process until you have however many 9 patches that you need to make the project size that you're going for. So now I have our hearts that we screen printed, and I have our 9 patches. How pretty is that? So right there is a little mug rug if you want to create that. So with our 9 patches and our hearts, we're going to create another 9 patch, only on a larger scale. So right there is the layout for our little wall quilt. You could alter your pieces if you wanted to do that. And I'm going to show you an example if you used just a blank square of fabric or even cut out a simple heart applique. How adorable is that? So you don't have to use the little stencil that we screen printed to make this quilt. I'm going to share with you now an example of the mug rug. Here's an example of the wall quilt that we're making together. And if you want to see what this quilt would look like as a full quilt, here's an example of how that would look as well. Isn't that pretty? So once you've assembled your 9 patch in the same manner that we assembled the 9 patch with our scraps, we're ready to layer our quilts. Today I'm going to be doing some glue basting. I have my backing fabric laid out and I'm going to give that a press. I have my batting. Both my backing and my batting are a little bit bigger than the top of my quilt. I will be using the backing fabric as my binding. So if you want to do that, make sure that you cut your backing at least 1 inch bigger than the top of your quilt, no matter what size you make. And I'm just using a glue stick and I'm going to go through and glue down my top and my batting. I'm going to cover this because I want to use some steam and dry that glue really quick. And all this glue will be dry when I bring this over to the sewing machine. I like to glue baste, and that eliminates the needs for pins. I like to press from the back as well. And now we get to do some fun quilting. For this project, I'm going to keep it super simple. We're going to do some stitch in the ditch quilting with my sewing machine. And then we're going to do some straight lines diagonally through our 9 patch. So I'm just going to sit back and enjoy the process as we watch how I plan to quilt this quilt with you. I really love the straight diagonal lines through the 9 patches. I think that's so pretty. You might want to use a walking foot. You might find it a little bit easier to guide your quilt layers through your sewing machine using a walking foot. I think this quilt is so pretty. I'll finish quilting this off camera. So what I want to share with you next is a video reference. If you want to see a full tutorial on how to use the backing fabric as your binding, it's super easy. You can check out this video on my channel. And I'm going to throw one of these quilts in the wash and we're going to come back and see how it turns out. So as you can see, I had a lot of fun just playing with this heart design and some simple 9 patches. So first I made a mug rug. Look how cute that simple straight line quilting on the diagonal is. So this makes a perfect little gift for your Valentine. See my quilting on the back? So we have that little mug rug and then our wall quilt. Don't you think that is fabulous? I absolutely love it. But I didn't make just this one. I made another one and I threw it in the wash because I wanted to see how well these Speedball fabric inks held up after heat setting. And look at that. It is completely perfect. Now I threw this little wall quilt in with my load of laundry for the week. Granted, keep in mind, I do not pre-wash my fabrics whatsoever unless I'm actually printing photographs on fabric for my quilt projects. Then I pre-wash my fabric. Otherwise, everything is straight off the bolt. I throw some color catchers in the wash. You can see all of the color catchers did the job. There's no pink fabrics. All my whites are super white. And I even used lots of red fabric in this project. But yes, heat setting this ink works wonderfully. There was no fading and I washed this on cold. So I do want to show you though, and it might have been the type of batting that I was using. I was using an 80-20 Fairfield batting. When you do not pre-wash your fabrics and you wash your quilt, there is a little bit of shrinking. See the size comparison. Both of these quilts were exactly the same size. And now this top one is about ½ an inch smaller all the way around. But I love the quilty look of it and it's so soft. The fabric ink is super soft. It just feels like the rest of the fabric, so there's no weird feeling or texture to the design. I love that. Again, imagine the possibilities. If you have a cutting machine, all of the different kinds of stencils you could create using the same quilt pattern with different designs, or absolutely leaving this plain, that would be so pretty as well. So for our giveaway, I would like to, this is going to be so much fun. Let me fold this up and get this out of the way. For the giveaway, I am giving away this wall quilt, I am giving away this mug rug, and I have 5 screen printed and heat set ready to sew in hearts that I had left over. So I will be giving away this as a prize, the mug rug as a prize, and the wall quilt as a prize. So do you want to know how to win? Entering the giveaway for these 3 projects is super easy. All you have to do is go down to the comment section and type your name and where you're from. That's it. So make sure to share this video with your friends so they can go down to the comment section, type their name and where they're from to enter this giveaway. Again, we're giving away 3 prizes. Now we're going to do that as a live video. I'm going to come to you live. We're going to go to a random picker that takes all the comments from this video, puts them in there, scrambles them up. We're going to pick 3 winners. We're going to do that on February the 14th, Valentine's Day, 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So make sure that you subscribe to my channel and hit the bell notification so that you get notified when I upload new videos and when I go live. We'll pick 3 winners. Again, we're going to give away the silkscreen hearts. We're going to give away this fun little mug rug and a wall quilt, and I can hardly wait. So yes, I feel like this video has been a super mind dump because I've had this idea rambling in my mind for so long and all of these things jotted down in my planner. I was so glad that I had some free time that I could make this video and share this idea with you. And now that we're done with the series for the mystery quilt, I have a few more free days before I start my next quilt. So who knows what I'm doing tomorrow. Okay, thank you so much for watching. Again, make sure to share this so that your friends have a chance to win. I can hardly wait to see you on Valentine's Day. If by chance you're watching this video and it is after February the 14th, 2020, then the lucky winners have already been picked. Thank you so much for watching, and I do hope that what you saw in today's video gave you lots of inspiration for creating projects just like these. And if it has been helpful, I'd love to hear from you down below. Just say hi. All right, until I see you next time, I hope you have tons of fun creating. I'd love to see your pictures. You can share with me on the Creative Crew group. A link for that will be in the description box as well. So many links, so much information. All right, I'm off. I will see you all really soon. Have a great day. Bye.